Youth unemployment sucks, and the problem is just going to get worse. Hi, we're Project Youth, and we aim to address this very issue. Let me give you another perspective of Tech Shoppers. Tech Shoppers is an event where hundreds of youth come to get low-paid temporary jobs, even though they're well-educated, simply because they can't find the right jobs for what they were educated in. What a colossal loss of human capital this is. And smart cities can definitely not afford this. The numbers speak for themselves. Now, if you want to solve youth unemployment on a macro level, you can only do it if corporates and governments work hand in hand to create real jobs. And you can only do it if educational institutes train the students with the right skills, both hard and soft skills, to ensure they're compatible for these real jobs. That's where we come in. Project Youth is a digital platform that ensures that we provide visibility among our three main stakeholders, which are governments, education institutes, and corporates. What are our key pain points for our three stakeholders? Education institutes, majority of the students are unhappy because what they learn is they feel is irrelevant to the job market. Moreover, there's a critical mismatch of skills. For companies, they find a lot of times that they have unsustainable human capital management. And they find that a lot of times they lack the human manpower that have the right skills to fill these jobs. Moreover, they spend a lot of time on training their employees, and they have lower early employee efficiency because the employee spends this time in training. For governments, large-scale unemployment means larger welfare costs, which results in a massive loss in potential GDP. So, how do we create gain and value for our customers? For our corporates, we ensure that employees have early productivity because they're empowered with the right skills. We also ensure that there's a lower training and development cost for early employees. We ensure that capital development and retention of early employees is there. Moreover, for governments, we ensure that there's lower youth unemployment, a higher GDP growth, and happier citizens. For educational institutions, we have happier students, industry skills, and agile schools. Agile schools are schools that empower their students to develop job-relevant skills. So how do we do all this is the key question. We leverage big data to ensure that each of our stakeholders gets customizable reports as well as have real-time access to visualize the market. And we do this using data inputs from our three key stakeholders. We process it with our technology partners, and we refine those big data processes to give relevant output, which are actionable reports for each of our key stakeholders. And this is how some of our products would look like. Our market size we fall under the big data sector, and our market size would double in the next 5 years, and we aim to capture 5% of that market. Our revenue model includes actionable reports for our key stakeholders in each entity at an enterprise level, real-time visualization of the market, as well as predictive AI to ensure that at an enterprise level we're having actionable tasks being overcome or being done by all the key stakeholders to ensure that they complete what they have to do from their part to address the key problem, which is youth unemployment. Our key partners include data banks, governments, as well as technology partners. So, what is our launch strategy? For each 6 months intervals, we have product development. We also have a pilot project and market validation. We validate the market using short-term KPIs, which are we develop the right skills for students. So we test student happiness and student engagement levels, address the skill gap for employers, making sure that employers in the 6 months to 1 year that we have the pilot project are getting higher skilled employees, and a decrease in youth unemployment on a year-to-year basis. And the user acquisition is done on a regional base for educational institutes and a sector base for companies. And throughout that, after the user acquisition, we create value creation by reforming our business model to ensure that we're constantly iterating to ensure greater value production for our stakeholders, and we want to fulfill the long-term KPIs, which not only fulfills our vision and validates us, but creates vision for our stakeholders, which is for governments to reduce unemployment by half, increase happiness and engagement in student levels for schools, and increase productivity amongst employees. So smart cities need smart human capital development.
So you say, can you quickly say what is the problem you're solving like this and you
Yeah, so we're trying to address youth unemployment at a macro level, at an enterprise level. We do that by ensuring visibility among three main key stakeholders by leveraging big data and AI-supported output and results, so that each entity is well informed and has visibility of each other sector to ensure that they can create can create more efficiency within the operations to cater to this problem.
So what's your product that you're providing?
Our primary product is as in the output. The output is our big data analytics for each of our stakeholders.
So big data is just...
Exactly, so it's market visualization.
So big data is just data, right?
Exactly, so it's market visualization,
right.
At real-time market visualization. Number two is customizable action points for schools, universities, corporates, and governments to ensure that they know exactly what action points they can take to ensure that they have the best results and value created for them. And finally, it's predictive AI to see what the market has at a macro level and how each of the stakeholders can see what the progress would be in the next 5 to 10 years.
So this is addressing potentially youth unemployment. So I'm a fresh graduate. What do I do? How do I find a job?
So we are addressing youth unemployment on a macro level, not at an individual level. So we're, like I mentioned, so it falls into two categories. For high schools, we ensure that they have visibility to what are the market needs in the next 3 to 5 years by the time their students complete their education, right? So they can empower and facilitate skill development for their own students, not by changing their own curriculum, but by showing the students that these are the skills that you need to develop using so like I mentioned, our key partners also include online free educational development platforms that allow you to develop those skills. So those skills would make the students more job ready in the near future. So by the time they complete their education, in addition to their formal education, they also have job ready skills.
How do you monetize this?
So we monetize this, as I mentioned, on a subscription basis, so that you can see the real-time market visualization as predictive AI and our customizable action reports. So that's what we're selling. We're selling, apart from data, we're also selling information and customizable actionable information that entities can actually carry out without having confusion on what to do with the data.
Thanks. Thank you very much.